Since my last Barney's World video, we've had 5 new episodes drop in 2 weeks. I'm not sure why they skipped their Monday upload to Max this week. Maybe we're on a 2-week schedule now, but we're gonna dive straight in anyway. The brave truth starts with the kids admiring Mel's RC plane that she built with her mom and inviting Barney to penguin glide over and check it out. Vivi is sure to hype up how important that fact is because we all know foreshadowing when we see it. Mel asks the others not to try and fly the plane themselves and is just about to take off when Grady comes by with his snack cart, and the gang goes pretzel mode, leaving Vivi to struggle with the Pandora's box that is not flying the plane. Vivi, after trying and failing to land the plane, is overcome with guilt. Despite telling Mel that she wasn't looking when the plane was broken, she tells Barney the truth. I do like Barney's reaction here. He's the right amount of understanding, but he definitely instills it in Vivi that despite the difficulty of the situation, she does need to tell Mel the truth. After seeing Vivi struggle with her anxiety, Barney devises a special game to give Vivi the confidence she needs to talk to Mel. This is another great example of the imaginary adventure helping the kids work through emotions they may not be able to process on their own. I think this is a step up from the Flora's Grape Jelly plot, honestly, as everything ties through more directly. To be made knights by Queen Babybop, who has truthfully always been a queen, the kids must bring out the dragon, a great allegory for what Vivi is up against. After failing to scare or lure the dragon out, Vivi, with some reassurance from Barney, invites the dragon out by being honest about her intentions. The dragon is amusingly revealed to be Billy, and he comes out right away. Once knighted, Vivi finally has the courage to tell Mel the truth, and the two are able to work it out, with Vivi helping her repair the plane. It's Brave to Tell the Truth is a good song, and it was pretty much designed for moments like this. It closes the episode out well for a pretty satisfying ending. It took a minute, but we got there in the end. Red light stop, green light go starts with, what else? A game of red light, green light. Barney spawns out of a spotlight, which looks strange, to say the least, especially when he starts running with it. Everyone is exhausted, except Mel, and Barney explains how important it is to listen to your body via his tail again. I do like Vivi poking a little bit of fun at this concept by stating that she doesn't have a tail, and instead asking her elbow for advice. I think this kind of solidifies my point from my previous video where Barney is talking to his tail on purpose to just make it super obvious to the target demographic to listen to their body. He does say as much, instead of his tail genuinely being sentient. This bit is still a little jarring, but I'm glad they added some more substance to it. Mel doesn't have time to hydrate, though. She's more interested in learning Billy's scooter tricks. Barney makes the park into a nighttime neon skate park, which definitely adds some visual interest to the episode. Despite everyone else resting or getting snacks, Mel once again would rather keep practicing her trick. An interesting blink and you'll miss it moment comes when Vivi asks to make the lights pink. The song If All the Raindrops can be heard as a musical underscore. It'd be nice to hear such a classic Barney song in full, but I'm glad for the Easter egg. Mel fumbles her trick and just doesn't understand why she can't keep going. Barney explains that listening to your body's cues is as important as the practice she's been doing, and Billy and the rest of the gang reinforce this by mentioning the cues they listen to. The body check-in song is pretty catchy and does a good job of giving kids an actual strategy for putting a name to feelings. This is already a difficult task, especially if you're neurodivergent like me, so I appreciate this sort of introductory lesson. After taking time out to take care of herself, Mel is finally able to pull off the trick. Big, Bigger, Best starts with a game of hide-and-seek that David wins due to him having a perfectly sized hiding spot. We finally meet David's older brother Liam, and throughout several playground games, it becomes pretty obvious that David just can't keep up. David tells Barney that he's too small to play any of the games like the others can, and wishes that Barney could just make him bigger before realizing that he can actually do that now. The newly resized David is keen to push his limits and wishes to be even taller. Barney obliges. Godzilla David eagerly takes the gang on a tour through the park before completely demolishing the monkey bars and realizing he needs to be much more careful now. Grady is completely chill while seeing this as they approach his pretzel cart and remarks that they grow up so fast, as David requests a pretzel. Unfortunately for David, he can hardly taste the pretzel due to his sheer size. Vivi tries to cheer him up by suggesting that they play hide-and-seek, but of course David is immediately visible. The problems with his wish are pretty much unavoidable, and after launching Barney into the stratosphere, David finally comes to terms with the situation. Barney reassures him and is completely understanding of why David wanted to be big right away, but reminds him that he'll be bigger as he grows up. I like the addendum that David will be the size that he's meant to be in the future, which is very positive. Barney returns David to his normal size, and in this case, I think the new I Love You song being used here is pretty effective. It is important to love yourself the way you are. Practice Makes Purple continues the trend of episodes opening on games and finds Mel and David playing soccer. Vivi arrives with photos of her Nona, who used to be a great soccer player. She says her whole family is great at soccer. Of course, once the others hear this, they want to see Vivi's inherent skills at work. Poor Vivi hasn't actually played much soccer and struggles with even kicking the ball right, but Barney is immediately there to help her work through her feelings on it. Vivi isn't immediately good at soccer, and the fact that her family seems to be just isn't helping. This is a struggle for a lot of kids, and I mean, even for a lot of us. It is difficult trying to work through those feelings of imperfection, especially if those around you don't seem to have that problem. Barney tells her that she needs to practice, but Vivi just isn't sure soccer is right for her. Our purple dino immediately redirects the gang into a new game of sharks and minnows at the splash pad, a much easier game that involves keeping the ball up and moving. You can see Barney's plan of trying to help Vivi play soccer without straight up just forcing her to practice the full game itself. Vivi herself is a little skeptical until the sharks, in the form of Baby Bop and Billy, appear. It would probably be easier for Barney to just guide her through the game, but once again, he uses a special, modified game to ease her through it. I really like this use of accommodation in action. Vivi learns to pass through a game of hot potato that ends with a mashed potato Barney, which is yet another insane surprise I never would have expected to see in this show. The gang practice their goals with a magic dragon, not that one, and Barney is finally able to reintroduce soccer to Vivi without her being scared to try. Nona stops by and compliments Vivi on her skills, reminding her that even she needs to practice, which is a nice touch. This episode is a pretty creative twist on the practice makes perfect trope, and I appreciate that subversion. Team Mateys is the last episode of this batch and opens with Mel's pretzel she was going to share with the gang being stolen by a pigeon. Since they can't find Grady and get another one, the gang pretends to be ship captains on a treasure hunt for pretzels. Barney turns the playground ship into a real Barney ship, and I do mean that title literally. This episode immediately has Imagination Island vibes, and for good reason. Grady is found to be on a pretzel raft just ahead of them, and Mel commandeers the ship in his direction. Grady is easily able to dodge a whirlpool, but the large ship isn't. Despite Vivi's pleading, Mel leads them through it and makes everyone thoroughly dizzy. Sea creatures appear in the water, and David warns Mel to stop. She doesn't, much to David's disappointment, and the creatures climb aboard. Like with other mystery creatures we've seen, it's just Baby Bop and Billy pretending to be sea goblins. In her haste to challenge the two, Mel forgets she's steering, knocks the two off into the water with her erratic directions, and ends up at the wrong island entirely. Vivi and David are honest with her, stating that it isn't fun when your team doesn't listen. Barney takes her out of the moment, and Mel is able to come to terms with the fact that her constant overriding of their ideas made them feel like they weren't important. Mel apologizes, and the crew gets back together. I love to listen to your ideas is a bit clunky in some spots, but it still works. The gang is able to finally catch up to Grady in the park, and Mel gets a pretzel to share. This episode struggles a bit with the plot being so condensed, and I think it would have worked better with a longer runtime, maybe as a special. It is a good lesson, and I love the scenery of the pirate adventure, and I hope they'll explore this again at some point in the future. I can't confirm this, but this episode feels like it was completed really early on. Baby Bop and Billy seem darker than they usually are, and their fleece textures are super prominent here. This could just be a design thing, but the Barney boat features a Barney with yellow claws instead of the purple ones he actually has, which may indicate he was supposed to have those at some point down the line. The animation itself is exceptionally fluid as well, so they may have had a little more time to cook on it. All speculation, but it's something. Overall, I did enjoy these episodes more than last week. That's not to say the others weren't good. They were, but they seem to be improving as they go on. I hope that as the series progresses, we'll continue to see that uptick in quality, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of our purple dino. As always, if you're looking to learn more, don't hesitate to check out my friends at Barney Wiki and Barney History Fans. Thanks for watching!